Yo, first things first. Thinking about making a new intro for Syiler. What do you guys think of this? So it'd start off like, "What's up, guys? Syiler here," but we'd auto-tune his voice, so it'd be all like wow wow and shit, you know. And then like a window would break, so it'd be like, "What's up, guys? Syiler here." And then, "I never said I'd die for you, but I got another God for you." And then some like crazy drop, like, and then the fucking video would start. What do you guys think? Ace! Oh boy, oh boy. Topic of today's session. 5.2 is coming out. You know what I mean? This is going to be a great patch in my opinion. The raid's looking awesome. But here's an interesting thing. Right now, they talked about this in pre 5.0 when Kata was still the current. Talked about having Valor points be a source of upgrading your gear. Now, we're going to look at this from both sides, and then you guys, I'd love to hear some opinions on this because this is a mixed bag in my opinion. They talked about this before, right? Months ago, talking about it like if it was going to be a permanent thing. They said, we're going to do this. It's going to be a new, because Valor really does feel like shit. Like this expansion, this tier, the first tier was terrible Valor-wise. Like you needed to do reps to use the Valor, and I can't. I'm a fucking paladin healer with a tank spec. You know what I mean? I can't do dailies every day. It takes too long. I don't have the fucking time or the interest. So having to do dailies to spend Valor made me not even want to, just don't bother. Don't bother because I'm not going to be doing dailies. Don't even worry about Valor. It just really put me off of the whole thing. Then, okay, now follow me here. Then they say, 5.1, we're going to put that Valor thing in. How great is this going to be? And I said, oh my fucking God. Made a video on it. If you don't know about it, Jesus Christ, where have you been? Wow, this is the coolest thing, in my opinion, they've put in the game as a standalone addition to a currency type thing ever by a large margin. This trumps putting Valor in the game, in my opinion, because when they put it in BC, it was to say, well, you guys, you're getting unlucky as raiders. I understand these raids are hard, so, just from doing 5-mans, we'll give you something to work towards. Great concept, but it feels cheapened now that you have to actually, you can't just get them from accomplishing PvE things. You have to actually go do fucking dailies to get reps. And as a whole, it makes me not want to do it. But this completely revitalized it for me. Valor is now the most useful thing in the game, in my opinion. Besides gear itself, it is the most, it's unreal. I will cap every single week, even if it means doing dailies. It's that important. So they're saying they're going to take it back out. Now, as I said, we're going to try to approach this from both sides, right? I don't understand why they would have made a big deal about it pre-Kata if it's not something they want to keep in. So I got to believe that here he says too early to evaluate how it worked. I'm sure it will need tweaking. Meaning that they have some greater idea for it. And they kind of just pushed it out as they said it was going to be a big thing in MOP. And it never even launched. You know what I mean? They just kind of put it out to say, we don't want any talk about people saying, look you said you were going to do this in MOP and you didn't fucking do it, noobs. You know what I mean? They don't want that. So, from a pessimist's point of view, you could say that it's a shit thing and it wasn't done and that they have a lot of work to do for it. But I don't feel that way at all. Now, let's talk about it from, my perspective, from, a positive light, really. What I believe it was, and there's even some confirmation of this, what I believe it was put in to do was to eliminate the need for nerfs. Now, we'll see. Don't quote me on this, but if things go right, I'm going to say we'll never see nerfs, especially not this tier. Now, if you remember in Kata, okay, this is when things start getting heated. They nerfed everything, all normal modes in Kata, the first tier. Right, so that's BWD, Bastion of Twilight, and Throne of the Four Winds. Got crushed 30% across the board, I believe, in one day, and that was only normals, right? So guess who? Fucking retards like Total Biscuit go off saying, oh my God, they're making the game too fucking easy. What a joke game. It's only normals. You know what I mean? Who does normals? Who cares? If you're still doing normals and you need that buff, you're fucking you're terrible anyway. You don't need it. Don't worry about it. But they're trying to make it, trying to circle the wagons here, say, fuck it, we're not going to do nerfs anymore. But I think this is their response to that. You know what I mean? Say, hey, we're not going to actually nerf content anymore, but, there's a gradual, quote unquote, nerfing process that happens as your guild gears up, right? Obviously, go look at, 25-man progression. You kill a boss, you get gear. Next week, you kill it even easier, even if only 1 or 2 pieces go out. But conversely, with this system, right, you get gear, you get valor, you upgrade it. So you basically, we took 2 whole weeks off, okay? And in those 2 weeks, I've upgraded 3 times, I believe. Obviously not, not possible. I had some valor from the previous week left over, but I upgraded 3 times. So that's, was that 12 item level upgrade on gear? That's that's a few hundred intellect. That's a lot. That's a big deal. That's like if I got a 2 pieces almost. You know what I mean? So that's a huge, huge deal. And people don't look at it that they're like, oh, just another micromanaged gear. People are talking about it like if it's, this guy's a fucking jackass. Celadine, I don't know who the fuck this guy is. So upgrading items is just a waste of time and effort. What is the point of it if it doesn't help in a new raid? What the fuck are you talking about? What? Huh? You know what I mean? This gear's going to get replaced. What? What? What the fuck? This guy's never raided. You can tell. This dude's a 10-man noob, dude. He's probably stuck on Elegon. Because this system, in my opinion, is clearly implemented to say, you know what? Let's make the tier easier without actually nerfing it. It's better than a 30% across the board. I did like what they did in Dragon Soul. I did not like what they did with Firelands, where they nerfed everything. Don't get me wrong. It allowed us to finish the tier. We got, got a lot more stuff done than we probably would have. But now this is the curious problem, right? Because when they nerf the content at the end of a tier, I kind of like it. It wasn't so bad with Firelands. It was too early, though. Guilds were still progressing, and there was still like a month and a half before Dragon Soul. It was perfect with BWD, in my opinion, because it happened the last week. The next week, Firelands was out. You know what I mean? So it's like, fuck it. Who needs... It was normals anyway. So I think that was the best approach because, first of all, the heroic bosses in that tier are still a bitch. Go in there and do them now. You'll still probably wipe. Unless you have like 10 players who have done them before. They're not easy. But nerfing content like that makes it easier for people who want to go back and experience it and not have to progress through it, right? So say, I got a buddy who just joined in Dragon Soul. He missed all of Firelands and all of fucking BWD. Well, this is great because it's 30% nerf. Me and my buddies who raid Dragon Soul, we don't care to wipe in fucking BWD. You know what I mean? Because you're still going to wipe if it's not nerfed. Like, it's not easy. I mean, it's an easier raid than what's out now, obviously. Requirements are less tuned, but there's still mechanics that can kill you. And you don't want to wipe. You don't want to wipe in something 2 tiers old. So that makes it comfortable for me. I don't mind the nerfs in that case, as long as they don't come out like in the middle of the tier. Now, Dragon Souls and similarly ICC's approach was to nerf it per month, basically, 5% every few weeks. And that worked for me. That was a very, very deliberate and long, elongated process. And by the end of it, we were well done. I think we finished by 20%. And, the 35% at the end was like, yeah, fuck it, dude. Let's do it. It's so easy. It's so much easier than it was. I like that. But this system works even better because you don't feel like you're like, all right, guys, another 5% this week. We got to get it this week. This is it. You know what I mean? You're kind of just like, I'm looking at the numbers and they're constantly rising. Every week, everyone's increasing, which is great. That's how it should be. Now, so what does that mean for the future? You know what I mean? Does that mean these raids they're going to remain a challenge, I think, unless they do some other type of nerf. So we'll see. Keep that in mind. 2 or 3 things to take out of this. First of all, just keep a look, see what they do. 5.2 is on its way out, man. You wouldn't believe how much they already have in the PTR. It's only been out less than a week. So I'd say by the end of the month, you know what I mean? Maybe February by like Valentine's Day, I think is a pretty popular day. That's when, I think they finally released Lich King during Valentine's Day. That weekend is always a big one. So I'd expect that. But keep an eye on that. See if they do any nerfs. keep an eye on what happens with gear, because the way people are talking about it as if it's gonna like destroy the upgrades. Like the guy says, is item upgrading going to be available for 5.2 gear? And you know, Greggy S says no upgrading during 5.2. And then people are down here talking about it like if it's going to destroy the upgrades. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But so check that out. Check that out. And then finally, I would love to hear your opinions. This is a very, it's one of those topics that I don't think is discussed ever. Like I don't think I've ever heard anyone discuss it. So if, you know, please just leave your opinions. I'd love to hear it, but fuck it. Otherwise, Jesus. Fuck 'em, man. I can't wait for 5.2. One way or the other. I hope this system comes back in for 5.3 or whatever it's going to be. It's a great system. I'm kind of upset that they're taking it out, but at the same time, I like the fact that you're going to be able to use this to buy actual gear, hopefully, so Valor instead. So that's it. Leave some opinions. I'd love to have a conversation with you guys.